education institutions has to be that the communities that we engage with have their own huge knowledge base through which they were surviving. They have their own ways of handling issues. They have their own ways of medicine. They have their own ways of looking at dispute resolution. And I keep sometimes to provoke students in my class, I keep saying that these people have existed for education institutions or any other discipline life or interfering their life, and they've been managing pretty well, which means that they have a vast reservoir of what we call indigenous knowledge. We may be that appreciation, that respect for indigenous cultures, indigenous knowledge, indigenous tradition is the fulcrum on which you base this engagement thing. Because otherwise, we will be in a mode where we are the givers. We feel that we are better placed than them, and we are out to teach people how to live or out to teach people what they should be doing. Rather than this, to the mutual exchange of knowledge to produce an output which is going to be benefiting the larger society. One of the examples that I can cite here is that when you start working with the communities, let us say if somebody is from geography or somebody from disaster management and even social work and sociology, we try and talk to them about, let us say, watershed management or water management, how you can kind of create some kind of or some kind of structure so that you can retain water here and there is recharging of water, groundwater. You will find that people have been using and where it passes through in a village and where does it get connected to the large other systems. Now we have started using industrial maps, but they're always supplemented by what the local people tell us. So there is this mutual exchange of knowledge through which we are able to reach to a particular the point that I'm trying to make is that engagement is not only a service function. Engagement with the community is also based on is also possible and is also done through our teaching processes and through our research functions. Talk to you now. As I said, that we've been talking about teaching, research, extension as a three main functions. And so we used to always consider that a good teacher is one who teaches and also does some research. And if time permit, then maybe do some kind of community engagement or some kind of an extension activity. So it is not to be seen as an addition to learning and teaching. This is not something that is existing in isolation of teaching and learning and research processes, but it is very much inbuilt in the teaching and research process as well. So it is not that we have a standalone kind of thing to demonstrate, and now because of the NAC and NIRF and other things, we have all put up small demonstrative projects to kind of show and say this is what we are doing. But it is something that should be part of the classroom transaction in itself. It should be part of our research itself. So if we look at education and we think that education in itself is the purpose of education is not to provide jobs to people or to engage people who have already been through some process, but it is if you look at education, it should be the aim of education should be social transformation, how we can bring about changes in the larger society, in our immediate society, and the change for the better, and also attainment of social justice, which means justice for everyone. Everyone has access to resources, everyone has equal opportunities, and so on and so forth. So we should not look at education that if you do an MBA from an IIM, you will get a 25 lakhs, 50 lakhs package. That is individual prosperity. But it should actually lead to the institution should be engaged with the community so that the person who graduates from the university is able to make some kind of a difference in the lives of the people and be a kind of champion or a volunteer or whatever for social transformation of the society. And therefore we will have to look at education not as a commodity but as a public good that everyone is entitled to have. So as early as 2011, Planning Commission said that institutions of higher education need to locate their learning and teaching in the communities in which they are located and to harness the idealism and dynamism of the youth. Now, this is adding another dimension to the whole discussion that I've been having till now, is that the engagement function has to be along with the students. So teachers, researchers, students, and the community. So all become stakeholders, all become partners, and because it is believed that the young people possess the dynamism, they are dreamers, they look forward to an ideal society, they look forward to a coexisting society, and therefore and they are also pained. And I can vouch for it as a student, as a teacher of social work, that when students come and when we expose them to poverty and misery of the people, they are actually very pained and they want to make a difference. That is the view that you have to tap on and see how we can get the students, because they already have these qualities, to have some kind of a meaningful engagement with the community. So actual engagement is what we are looking at. A meaningful engagement is what we are looking at, rather than an annual blood donation camp or a celebration of, let us say, Women's Day in the community once a year. And everyone goes there and you whitewash everything and then you have a pandal and you do a function and you come back. Now, that is not community engagement. That is just tokenism that we normally do. So actual engagement would be more than this. So what does it mean? Is that we move from the original initial model of public service, where you do things, as I said, you set up a creche or you set up a small school for the people, to a model where you kind of become active partners and you go beyond your traditional roles of teaching and research and saying, I will go to the community and find out what exactly is happening. And my investigators going, or rather my students going, or rather than people who we engage to do this, they're going there. I am also going to be going there. And that means that the moment the teacher steps out of the classroom and goes out in the field, the institution, it is almost like the institution is moving from the classroom to the community. Just 1, 2, 3 teachers, if they start doing this, the reach of the university or the reach of the higher educational institution or a college extends beyond the classroom. So this is what we call a far more collaborative have, and this is what we call an engaged model of university outreach, where we are kind of engaging with the community rather than providing the services to the people. So if you have any questions, I can take those questions at this point of time. Are you able to follow what I am saying, and are you able to? Are you able to follow what I'm saying? Are you listening?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir. We are listening.
Okay. So So do you have to say anything? Like to say anything?
No,
No, sir.
Okay. So as an higher education institution to which we all belong, our obligation is not only knowledge creation through our research or knowledge dissemination that we do through our teaching and through our publications, but we are we also have the responsibility towards society and to work towards the development or the improvement of the larger society. So the short point that I'm trying to make is two. One, we are an important component of society. We cannot afford to live in our ivory towers and say we are highly educated people and our role is limited to the classroom. And I do my role well. I really teach well. I go to my class on time, and I'm constantly looking for ways to how best I can teach. That is perfectly okay. But for an engaged higher education institution, you need to go beyond that and look at the larger society, because we cannot afford to keep on complaining and craving about what is happening in the larger society. And this is very manifest when we sit down and talk about students and we say that a particular background of students that have come they have absolutely no idea, they lack manners, or they are not able to understand. Now all these things, the causes for all these things are lying in the community, in the background from which they are coming from. And therefore, in order to understand that, we will have to reach out and see what is exactly happening, so that then we are able to fine tune our research, fine tune our teaching, and maybe provide some kind of supplementary things to these students so that they are able to proceed better. So we have an obligation towards the society, and we have to keep on redefining our role of not just knowledge creators and disseminators, but more of let us say agents of social change. So now this is just a short glimpse into what exactly is happening in the larger society, and it's not that everything is perfect everywhere. These are the things that are happening on a global level. So with all these improvements that we have had with globalization and everything, and all of us traveling, and our possessions are much more than what our parents possessed, and everything is happening as far as development is concerned. But also at the same time, there is a lot of inequality, both within the society and across different societies. If you see, very few people have access to all the resources, and the rest of the population is kind of at a very low level. And we have destroyed our environment by our consumption. We have changed the whole climate cycle ourselves. This is all our own that is happening. And at the another level, you pick up the newspaper, you'll find every day some kind of news about violence happening against girls, against women, against marginalized people. So all this is happening across our communities and across our societies, and we have to respond to that. We have to respond to that. As an institution, if something like this is happening, we should know that how can we respond in this particular kind of a situation. We also have emergencies. Some colleges and universities are placed in locations where you have either earthquakes or floods or droughts. We just can't keep our kind of blinkers, put on our blinkers, and just go to the classroom and talk about whatever topic and come back. We need to engage and see what is happening in the lives of people around us, and so that we are able to respond to that. So what community engagement, university engagement basically means is that the universities establish a relationship with the communities, and which is mutually beneficial. And there is a bidirectional flow of information between the two, which means we learn from the community learns from us. So our stance has to be a learning stance. A learning stance is a very difficult stance to have. It's the most difficult for a teacher to inculcate that learning stance. We can all go on saying we are lifelong learners and otherwise, but um, we have been fed, we have gone through a structured educational system, and there are certain theories, there are certain ideas, there are certain information that we have stored in our brains for the last so many years, and we feel that this is the right information, this is the right theory, this is a fact. But when you go out to the community, you will find that each and every theoretical formulation that you are possessing, your perspective that you are possessing, is going to be constantly challenged if you look at the lives of the people with a little more intensity. I'm not saying that you will be able, you will debunk our theories, but the challenge is there, and that challenge is what will force you to think about whether this theory that I have been talking about, whether this ideological strain that I belong to or I like or whatever, or whether this is really true of what is happening at the level. So, which sometimes we also say that you need to go out with a clean slate when you go to the communities and reach out to the people, which basically means that we drop our stance of knowing and adopt a stance of learning. So even people who are doing research with the community sometimes look at information coming from the community as data to be analyzed, as data to be put in tables, as data to be put in MPhil, PhD dissertations, or even MA dissertations. We have to go beyond that and look at the feeling, the affect component of the information that is coming to us. And then only we'll be able to appreciate what is happening in the lives of the people. So this engagement is, when we say bidirectional, it is not just that you gather data and you tell people what you're doing, but also learn from what data you are gathering or what information you are gathering from the people. And this is what will lead to the process of what is known as a co-creation of knowledge. Now, co-creation of knowledge means that you as a researcher are, are not the only party in the creation of knowledge. You have the community as an active component. You have the community as an active partner in the creation of knowledge. So you may have a theoretical formulation, you may have a hypothesis, you may have a hunch that this is what is going on as far as society is concerned. But the moment you start testing, you and you give enough respect and importance to what the people say, and it helps you to change your perspective. And once you change your perspective with the help of the what you learn from the community, that is the step one towards co-creation of knowledge. Then you go into the steps of validation and otherwise. So which brings us to the point that we have to, again, I am emphasizing, understand, appreciate, and give due importance to what people know and what people have been doing for so many years. Some of the practices may appear unscientific to us. Some of the rituals may appear from a modernistic perspective to not be in the right spirit, and those also need to be addressed. But at the same time, what people have been doing with their farming pattern, for example, how have they been using irrigation in drought-prone areas? How have they been storing food over so many years and not starving? What are the practices that they employ while let's say a woman is pregnant or during childbirth, and so on and so forth? That gives us great ideas on simple things that actually have worked for so many years. So if they work for so many years, then we need to have a look at them with a little more, say, critical lens, to see whether this actually is a good concept or not, whether this is working or not. So maybe now that we have started talking about indigenous systems of of, of medicine, and the government is also promoting the indigenous system of medicine. You will see that there are lots of things which are already there out there, which people have been using as medicines or as supplements for their food, which have just be uh, a kind of need to be uh, appreciated and maybe uh, also acted upon as a mutual thing. So we will have to basically abandon our earlier outreach and extension function to a more participative, to a more engaged, to a more to a process which is committed to the co-sharing and co-creation of knowledge, that is the basis on which societies are built. Now, there is a benefit in what we are discussing right now.